Hi guys, these are Cupcake bath bombs. They're pretty simple to make and really lovely, and all the materials are in the description box below. So first things first, you're going to need some cake liners or some cups to put your cupcakes into. You're also going to need some citric acid, and you can find that anywhere that sells winemaking stuff or somewhere like Whole Foods. And you're also going to need some bicarbonate of soda. You're going to need an oil. I'm using olive oil. You're also going to need an essential oil or a flavour or a scent to make your bath bombs smell amazing. And then for the icing on the top, you're going to need some icing sugar, some cream of tartar, some meringue or egg powder, some colouring, and then something to sprinkle on top to make it look beautiful. So in a bowl, I've got my bicarbonate of soda, and it's got a few lumps in it, so I'm just going to take a whisk and whisk it until it's lump free. Once you've got all your lumps out, you're going to add your citric acid and then just stir that around until they're equally incorporated. The next thing that we're going to do is add our colour. I'm using a powdered colour because it's my preference just for this sort of thing, but you can use a gel colour or you could use a paste colour as well. To make my cupcakes smell absolutely amazing, I am using a rhubarb flavouring, but it's a really intense one, so I'm not using that many drops. And you can use a scent or you can use an essential oil, and all you need to do is mix that all around just so that you can get all of that scent everywhere. And oil is really good for this as well because it really carries it. So I'm using olive oil, but you could use almond oil or anything that you like. And you're going to add it in small amounts, and what you're looking for is the consistency of damp sand. So you just want it to be able to hold its shape if you were to press it into your palm. I am using paper cups for this, and the easiest way that I've found is to just spoon it in a little bit at a time, and before you press them all down, if you add the mixture to each one first and then press it down, you just tend to get a bit more of an even look, so all of the cupcakes will have roughly the same amount in them. To press mine down, I'm just using the bottom of a small glass, a shot glass, but you can use anything really. Just make sure that they're really well compacted, because if they're not, they're going to break apart when you take them out of the paper cases. To make the icing, I've just got some powdered sugar in a jug, and I'm doing this by hand. If you're doing this in a stand mixer, then you could definitely put all the ingredients in a bowl and just let it mix until it's ready. But when you're doing it by hand, I just find it a little bit easier to add all the ingredients in stages. So after you've added that water and you've given it a good mix, the next thing you're going to do is add in your cream of tartar, and that's just going to harden the icing really well. You're also going to add in your egg white. You can either use meringue powder or powdered egg white, so I'm using powdered egg white for this. And if you don't have either of those, then you could use a real egg white if you want to. And then after that, you are going to add in your colour. The colour that you use is completely up to you. You can use liquid, you can use paste, you can use gel, but I am using powder colour. So I've added my last cup of confectioner sugar, powder sugar, icing sugar, whatever you want to call it. I've added that in, and I just find that it's a little bit easier if you stir it before you switch on your mixer, only because icing sugar does have a tendency to go everywhere if you put an electric mixer on straight away, and by mixing it you're just going to reduce the amount of sugar that's sort of clouding in the air. So you can see now that that's got a really beautiful blue colour. If it's a little bit too stiff at this point, you can add 1 teaspoon of water until you get it to the right consistency, but I wouldn't say that you'd need more than 2 or 3 extra. Your mixture should be pretty stiff. If it's not, once you've piped it, it'll look really pretty, but as it's drying, it will definitely start to sag. So make sure that it is quite stiff, but just about pipeable. So you can see here that I'm using a closed star tip. For the lift that I'm looking for, I just do 1 row at the bottom first, and then I pipe my swirl on top. And it looks really pretty in the end. It's important to decorate these cupcakes whilst the icing is still wet, so I'm using hundreds and thousands, but you can use whatever you like to just make it look pretty, but the only trick is if you do it while it's wet. So add your decorations, and then you need to put them to one side for at least 24 hours and ideally about 48 hours, and then you can package them, you can use them, you can make them look absolutely beautiful. They make a really good gift, and they just look so cute in the bathroom. So as always, thank you very much for watching. This is slightly different to the videos that I normally do, but I do appreciate you sticking with it, so thank you. And I just thought I would show you what they look like in water. Now for me, I take off the icing before I put it into the water. Obviously you don't have to, sugar dissolves, it's not the end of the world, but I don't want to be sitting in sugar, so that's why I take it off. These will fizz for actually quite a long time, around about 5 minutes or so, and the colour of the water will change as you go along, so just bear that in mind when you're picking a colour. You want something that's going to look really pretty when you're in the bath.